siguiente programa es un esfuerzo en conjunto de tus estaciones favoritas. Voz Tacoma Radio Universal, KTQA 95.3 Low Power FM, Tacoma y Pierce County, KQWZ 106.5 Low Power FM, One America Voice en South King County.
Wonase, how do you say good morning in your native language?
There's a few ways. The majority of people today, they would say Hehane Washde.
Hehane Washde?
Yeah, Hehane Washde.
Hehane Washde.
Yeah.
Hehane Washde. To the to my Washingtonians this morning here in Tacoma, Washington. We're sitting here in the beautiful, beautiful Tacoma, Washington state. Rain, this has been a really different weather out here. Yesterday it hailed, it rained, there was a lot of wind. There was lots going on with the weather here in Washington State in April. For me, I don't know, it feels different. Maybe I'm not going back to April of last year, but it just feels different. This morning was a little bit of snow when I was driving down here, just rain and snow. So we here in this beautiful second day of the month of April. The year is going pretty fast. We're in the fourth month of the year, 2023. And there is a lot going on. I want to first welcome everyone that is listening to us through VT Radio Universal, watching us through the YouTube channel. Also, Facebook, is you watching? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And I have a special guest. He's not new to my show. We have Wonase. He is in North or South Dakota?
Presently, I'm in South Dakota.
South Dakota, from the tribe of the Lakota. And we also have my co-host, Pastor Gunnarson. I like that. I might just start using this, Gunnarson.
We're changing names here.
Yes. Sitting there, we're gonna start our show, but before we start the show, I was talking to them and asking them what is it that they think about everything that's going on nationwide and everything that's going on worldwide when it comes to the environment, when it comes to the political environment, everything that's going on. We have the tornadoes right now in the South. We have Tennessee, we have Arkansas, we have Alabama, Mississippi, we have Indiana, and about 20 something or 20 something people died in these tornadoes. We also have the shooting in Tennessee that is becoming normalized now. These mass shootings, we talking about the indictment of the former president. We have lots to comment, and then we can jump into what we're talking. So, Pastor Dennis and Wonase, what do you guys think about? Well, let's start with the environment, because driving down here, it just feels different for me in April, the kind of environment that we have right now in Washington State. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking different. I don't know.
I think the environment and the craziness in the weather,
Mm-hmm.
the constant in one day.
Yes.
You have snow for about a half a minute, and then you have hail for
Yes.
2 minutes. And I really think this
And the wind, there was a lot of wind.
Yeah, I think this is really connected to the climate change issue, which, as Wonase talks about, it is the earth cleansing itself. And I think, pretty much most religions talk about this thing. They just talk about it in different languages.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're starting to see it and use the scientific language for it. In the Christian tradition, we talked about it, kind of in Revelations, about all this this craziness. We used to believe that all of this was about physical warfare between people groups. But when you look back at it in this environment, you realize this is the earth trying to reclaim its integrity.
I almost feel like an imbalance. I feel like an imbalance. Like the earth is shifting in a way that is all over the place. That's how I see it. Now, Wonase, what do you think about this?
Well, I think that this is a very natural existence. And the humankind has gotten out of that, so far away from that natural existence, that it seems very threatening and crazy to us. Because we've gotten away from the true law of life, and that is to listen to the land, air, and water. Land, air, and water. Law. Natural law.
Yeah.
And we've created and changed a lot of the energy that is going around now. When you have mass production, like in China, their air their air quality is you can't see through their air.
Yes, you can't breathe.
And at one time, before all of this, they were a very clean, wide open country, very caring about their land, but there was a rise to power that allowed the nations of the earth turn to China, because they have the population, they can send product there and be manufactured. So they kind of let go of their yes. So the Oyate Z of Asia, the yellow people of Asia, they were given a gift by Creator, whatever the natural creator energy is and power. Some call God, some call in their own language this greater power than ourselves. The Oyate Z of Asia, the yellow people of Asia, their gift was air. And when you see China and you look at the cities and they're so, you can't see through their, so they kind of, they disregard their gift. The Oyateska, the Europe, the white people of Europe, theirs was fire. And they took that and they created weapons of mass destruction through the energy of fire. And the Oyate Sapa, the black people of Africa, their power, their gift was water. And so all the hurricanes that come to the American continent come up along the west coast of Africa and are created,
Yes.
bring their energy. So they're, and then the Oyate Luta of North and South America, the red people, our people, is Earth. And we've been relatively connected to the Earth, and even so today. But with the coming of other people, it's we're dislocated from our lands. We're taken away from our lands, our natural lands, and we're put on small prisoner of war camps called reservations. We're trying still with what we have to stay connected with the earth. So when we listen to the land and we listen to the air and we listen to the water, that is law. That's wope, ikche wope, natural law, land, air, and water, LAW. It is Unchimaka altogether, Grandmother Earth, telling the human, this is how you should live in the place that you have been given. Take care of it. Take care of it. But mankind has taken us on a crazy journey, and Unchimakashi, the weather is part of her cleansing, her trying to wake up people.
Do you see like floods being connected to the African water gift as a reclaiming? Do you see that connection there?
Yeah,
and like forest fires with the fire, and earthquakes with the earth, and smog with the air. It's like that manifestation.
Yeah, and we should learn out of what is happening. We have to humankind has to take a look at it, look and see really, and acknowledge really what is happening. The healing of the human being will allow us to come back to ourselves individually. So we're not into this religious control and guiding by control and power and control. Religion, man created, I don't know what to say about that, but
man-centered religion?
Yeah. Versus spirituality. Spirituality is the individual connection with the higher power of your own understanding, whatever that may be. And you become the creator energy by that relationship. So instead of going out and destroying the earth, trying to take and claim everything that you can, now you're more spiritually awakened, connected. You want to do something to help heal the earth, help heal the life of the earth. And
so when you're saying you become the creator, you become more innovative?
Yes.
In that sense? Okay.
And I'm thinking having a sense of self, I think it's the biggest thing. The more and more, the older I get, I am thinking of myself, even feeling that I'm a small speckle in this that we call the universe, but I'm still have a role to play. I'm thinking that is basically what we are talking about, having individually a role to play in order to heal, to come together and to heal this world, the nature. So for me, the older I get, I have more of a sense of self, and I question myself what it is, me as myself, is my role in bringing healing, in coming together. And I think this is more people start thinking that way. But like Pastor Dennis, I know we talk a lot about that in our show, is about the tribal, how leaders use tribalism in order to separate and conquer. So, and we need to start thinking as an individual, not basically me.
Instead of me and mine.
Yes.
Us and ours.
Yes. And I'm thinking, when I was thinking about this show, I was thinking the way we tell stories, right? I mean, there is other civilizations that have tell stories in using even Jesus, when his parables, he used different ways of telling stories. And I was thinking about Wonase telling, using nature, the four essential, how do you call nature elements, that is water and air and fire and earth. All of those things, to tell the story and to use it to represent each group of humankind is kind of cool. But at the same time, how all of those different elements need each other and have their role to make this world a better place. And we are so, when it comes to history, we are told so much that we are so different, and we not. We more and more alike, and we want the same things. So I'm thinking, how do we change this narrative? Because I'm looking right now at China, I'm looking at the United States, I'm looking at Russia, the race to power, the race to who is going to be the most powerful country in the world. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's that drive. It's that drive not to be part of something, but to be the owner of something. And
exactly.
That goes back to the difference between the colonists and the Native Americans. You know, we came in and we brought this concept of property. This belongs to me. This belongs to me. You know, and that greediness defines the conflict that has never stopped.
And now we become a world of consumers. This is crazy, right? And China is the kingpin of the consumer, because they I mean, it's, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. The people of the earth, like individuals like you and I, and just ordinary folk, ordinary human, they understand what's going on. And the craziness of these power struggles is the leadership of the country's leadership. They forget when, like for us here in the United States of America, the people are supposed to be the ones that govern themselves. But we elect officials, political officials, and then go to Washington D.C. and they forget about the people, and they just go run with their own ideas,
Right.
and take this whole concept of governance out of balance, because they are so far away from the natural world. The higher you go up in the tower, the further away you get from Earth. Unchimaka, her spirit, her energy. That's why the native people of North America, native people of all countries on this earth, native people are still connected to the earth because they walk on the earth. They take their shoes and boots off, and they just, in their bare feet. You see a lot of native people around the world walk with no shoes. That is a very powerful connection. You can feel the spiritual energy from Unchimaka's life force coming through your body. And when that happens, you're going to be more concerned about her life, and you're going to accept your responsibility as to what to do to help preserve that life. So we are
So Wonase, I wanted to ask you, so we have these four elements of nature, that is water, earth, and air and fire. And before the show, we was talking about these elements. Can you describe each one of these elements and the role that they play when it comes to healing the earth? We have water, we have that represents the African continent, you was telling us. We have air that is in Asia. We have earth that is the indigenous in the world, and then we have fire that is the Europe Anglo-Saxons people. So describe a little bit the role that each of these elements have, and how can we come together to heal, and instead of using these powerful, because water, I mean, oh my God, and fire, how can we come together and heal this world that is screaming to us and saying, hey, stop.
So for the native people of this continent called North and South America, we have what is called Wichone Womime, the circle of life. And then some will call it the medicine wheel. I think some people have, and it's connects so that there's these four colors in this medicine wheel, and that's the black, red, yellow, and white. The black representing the Oyate Sapa, the black people of Africa, what is now known as Africa. And they, at the beginning of their creation as a people, they were given a gift of water, to use water. And at one time, there was a predominantly jungle in Africa. It was very little desert because of the water and because of the spiritual gift that the people were taught how to use it, how to use water. Water is powerful. It can flood and destroy, but it also gives you life. Mm-hmm. It's gentle, it's soft, it's cleansing. And so the human whose responsibility for that gift of water was to understand that, and then take that and teach that to its people, so that later on there is gonna be there can be, should say there can be a generation that will connect all four of these elements, because we have this great awakening that is happening with the young people, with the children and the teenagers, and they're getting active. But the governments are trying to quiet their voices, shut down their voice, shut down their activity. So our people, the Oyate Luta, our people, the red people of North and South America, our gift was earth. And we do live with the earth. We do as best we can to live with the animals, everything of the earth that comes from the earth. We do. We're still trying, even though we are locked up on these small little reservations called, or prisoner of war camps, United States prisoner of war camps called reservations now. Then the Oyatezi, the yellow people of Asia, their gift was air. And you see China with mass production polluting the air. Russia also. And then the Oyateska, the white people of Europe, theirs was fire. Their gift was fire. And they misused their gift by creating weapons of mass destruction. Fire, and fire is connected to a lot of natural energy and natural resource energy, like mineral. You can take a crystal and you can position a crystal to where the sun can come through that crystal, and it'll create fire. It'll destroy. And there's other elements too, other earth elements that were, so hydrogen, the hydrogen bomb, the atomic bomb, all that was created in Europe by the German people. They studied that, and then they brought it to the United States. The United States government brought those scientists over to the United States, and it created the bombs that we used, the United States used, like on Japan, to stop the war. Now they're suffering from all the radiation, and they have generational trauma from that. So we can have generations coming up, young people, children, Wakanyaja, the sacred beings, these little babies that are being born, Wakanyaja, sacred beings, were born sacred. Life giver of all creation, all the universe, didn't put us on earth in a bad way with bad intention. That's crazy. The creator universe gave life to you and I, and gave us a gift to use to be good and useful and healing. So we're going to have generation. We can have generation of young people that understand that now there's these things happening in Africa where the younger generation are getting together, and they're looking at the farming ways, because they have so much arid land. It's hard to farm there. They have so much tropical land. It's hard to farm there. But they're looking at how do we use water in smaller spaces to grow food for people.
Yeah. As you were talking about that, I was thinking about all those elements in harmony, the rainforest. I wonder, that to me is an example of all four of those in harmony, because our air cannot be cleansed without the effect of the rainforest, as it takes the bad air and heals it and purifies it. And of course,
the trees and the earth that help cleanse and bring the water. So everything has to work together.
And the fire comes in when there's an obstruction and they need to clear out the old growth that needs to go away and bring new birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much so. The Chang-Oyate, the tree people, are the air filters, the lungs of Unchimaka,
Yeah.
with the water.
I read a book about the economies of the East, and they talked about how that many of the countries of the East they have understood the they have brought in people to help them understand the ecosystem, and they have been able to produce a more harmonious and high producing environment in smaller spaces. Where here in the U.S., we have pockets of people who have understood that stuff and shared it with other parts of the world, but our economy and our agriculture is not built on that. Our agriculture is built on stealing as much as we can from the ground, and making money off of it, and not really maximizing the potential of all of it. We do it on a large scale, whereas in Asia they farm on a much smaller scale and have far higher production from that smaller scale. But they also show respect for the environment. They use the environment and enable it to be more efficient and more effective, instead of destroying for financial gain. And I thought, wow, how long is it going to take us in the U.S. to start learning from this stuff and stop raping the earth?
And that is exactly the word that I was thinking, rape. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Taken without permission. It almost feels like that. And that I don't know, you can correct me when I say, but I know that the indigenous Indian people used to take just what they need, and they used to also replenish and make sure if I take fruit from this tree, or even take this tree, I'm gonna put back and replenish that tree. That right now, even where I live, Pastor Dennis, you live close to me too.
Yeah.
I live in my house. I've been here for 25 years, and it's crazy to see how that area is changing. I mean, it's just crazy to see the building of homes. Is just to me, it's and how can and there is a problem about housing. There is a problem about people not having where to live. But how can and we building these big old houses that I have to say I'm guilty. I don't want to say too much about my personal life, but I have too much space for myself. We don't need all that space. Honestly, we don't. We don't need all that space, and we're taking more and more for the earth. For what? I don't understand it, and I have to say I'm guilty of that too. The same thing with transportation. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, United States, I'm from Panama. For you guys that know, I'm from Panama. Panama, transportation is changing more and more. We have trains that take you for 5-10 minutes from B to C to C to D, And I don't understand why the United States doesn't do something like that. And I was talking to a friend about that. And I said, you know why? Because of the oil industry. We have 4 people in a house with 4 cars, right? That in the 1960s, you had 1 car with 5 people in a house, right? But now everybody's driving, and we're not learning how to. It's not that we can't, it's that we don't want to. And we having all these powerful forces controlling, because the oil industry is everybody needs a car, and I'm pretty sure the United States can have train. We can take a train from Washington State all the way to Florida in probably half an hour. I don't know. It's done in other places in the world. But we have this powerful force that's saying no.
Yeah. We have a strong individual rights mindset. This conquering mindset, this mindset that the only thing that's going to make me happy is that I take everything that I want. And we have justified it through our religion. We have justified it through our politics. We have justified it through all kinds of ways. But, happiness doesn't come from domination.
And that's a good word.
It comes from community.
Yes.
It comes from being rightly related to each other, to the environment around us. And we have to shift our worldview. We really do. To understand that we're part of an ecosystem.
We're not outside of that. We are.
Exactly. And until we recognize that ecosystem is going to come and bury us. That ecosystem is going to come on top of our heads. That's what we're seeing in the South right now. The ecosystem is coming and saying, hey, I'm still here. I still play a part of this role. And until you are willing to share this world with me, I'm going to let you know I'm here.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Those who need control and power. So demonizing who you stole from has been the strategy and justification of colonization to acquire mental and physical real estate globally. And that's what's taken this whole natural way of living out of balance.
Yeah.
So, however, again, I say, because we have a prophecy, and when the oil industry came into our land and our treaty territory and put an oil pipeline in, and put the oil pipeline under the Missouri River, the Minishoshi.
Wow.
They bored under the earth. And so the young people, the teenagers and the children, they were the ones that first became aware of it and decided to do something about it. And that's what they called, they came to Standing Rock, our reservation, my reservation. And they called all the people of the earth to come and stand with them in prayer, come and stand in prayer to stop this pipeline. And so we had people from all over the earth come. We had, I believe, at one time, 15,000 people,
Wow.
give or take, in a camp. And we were like the 5th largest new city in the state of North Dakota. And so this is the strength that the young people have. So one of our prophecies says that the black snake, which is what everybody looks at as the oil pipelines around the earth, oil pipelines that are buried in the earth, under the waters of the earth, everywhere now. We call the black snake Zuzecha Sapa, the black snake, and it will destroy the earth if the young people let it. And that's one of our prophecies, if the young people let it. So that was the calling of the young people to, we had young people from other reservations joined together, and they ran from Standing Rock all the way to Washington, D.C. They ran to bring awareness of this issue to the politicians, but the politicians are all bought into the oil industry because it's a moneymaker. And it provides them financial wealth, so they don't care. They don't care what it's going to do to the earth. They don't care what it's going to do to the people who live there. However, when you and I, we're older, we're the older generations now. When you and I wake up and we put our prayer energy with the young people, they're the ones, and they're the ones that can make and turn this around. But it's going to take every individual, as many people on this earth individually, to wake up and to get back to a more natural, more spiritual thought of life. It's going to take letting go of religions that have just misled people, human beings, humankind, but I think that there will have to come another cleansing, because we've had it. We're like in the second or third one already. We just saw where the archaeologists, they found gold pieces down in South America, pieces of gold that they dug up, and these pieces of gold look like aircraft. Now they're trying to carbon date these pieces of gold. So there was a time when a civilization previous to this one that we are now part of, they had advanced technologically to where they got crazy and would go and destructive, and that's why Unchimaka cleansed herself. It took those people off her existence, and then now we are the descendants of the new generation that began after this past cleansing.
Does your tradition on this discuss the planets? Not the planets. I'm sorry. The continents and the separation of the continents into different continents from one. Do they talk about that concept?
Oh yeah, definitely. As far back as we can remember, we won't remember everything, but some people have brought forth remembrance of stories that. And then there was a time when the lands were more connected, some were and less connected also. And we won't know until Unchimaka does cleanse herself what the landscape will and the water will look like when she does. So we're in this constant motion, the shkan, Dakuwash, Dakuwakanshka, this constant sacred motion universally, and as you said, we're just specks. We're specks of existence.
We are.
And what we do on these little specks of existence in this universal energy, this universal movement and beyond, because we don't know what it is like out there yet.
Yeah.
We're just trying to send out satellite and telescope and trying to discover, trying to see.
You know,
However,
you
that universal existence is right here
Yeah.
within you. It's just how do we wake that up?
right.
How do we wake that up?
You were talking about those stories of ancient civilizations. I remember reading about ancient civilizations that originated in the middle of the why am I not Mesopotamian area? My brain is a little fuzzy here. But I know. I remember reading some of those stories of where archaeologists have unearthed these advanced civilizations, and I know that like in the Christian tradition, we reference that collapse as the Tower of Babel, and we reference the separation of the plates of land, from one big mass to the different continents as the Great Flood, as do other religions do the same thing. Have those stories, and it's interesting when we piece all of our histories together and see that we're talking about the same thing.
Yes, just different language.
Different language, different terminology.
Yeah.
We have different elements around us that we use to reference that stuff.
I was talking to a lady from Peru yesterday, and we were talking about Pichu Macho. I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu. Oh my God. I got it wrong. But
That's just the dyslexic.
yes, I know. Me looking at these backwards, my eyes. But and I told her, I said, normally we here in the United States, we look at Europe. I want to go visit Europe, and I want to go to these exotic places. And I was looking at the geographic channel the other day, and I look at this, and I just was out of breath, sitting in my family room, and I just don't understand how was this city built, because there's not even any way to get there by, I don't know, I know you can walk, and they think it's aliens, and the technology that was used to build this city, and we're talking about Mexico. We talk about Mexico, right? That those are the things on my bucket list, because I'm thinking I don't need to go across the continent when right in the back of my yard I have these things that was created by other civilizations, and we don't know. There's still no answer how these things were built. We think we have technology up here, but there is other people that live that would had the same or even better,
When you think of when you discover those things around the world, it makes our tradition of thinking that we are the enlightened ones and everyone else are the savages so arrogant and so ridiculous.
Or even thinking that we are the smartest civilization that ever lived.
Yeah. That I use the term tribalism because of a lack of knowing what else to call it. But that idea that I come from this a superior understanding, and others have a lack, and you reference to, and a lot of that is fed by this idea that there has to be those that have and those that have not, which is a tremendously arrogant and a tremendously self-serving mindset, because it gives me the idea that in order for me to have, somebody has to not have,
Mm-hmm.
and it legitimizes classism,
Mm-hmm.
which is at the core of the problem that we are struggling with. We have become universal as far as being able to interact with each other, but we still haven't surrendered classism in order that we can all learn to be together and share and be equal, and not be the righteous and the unrighteous. Yeah. It's yeah. I'm with you, Wonase. I feel like I use different language to say the same thing as you do. Am I right? Do you feel the same way?
Oh, yeah, Lila Washte, very good. Same, yes. But this is what is put to the people every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, every moment of every day is this what we were talking about, what America is, America, the command to love riches and wealth.
That explains us so well.
2 words, a command to love.
To love.
Rika,
Riches.
wealth is riches. Yeah.
Oh my God, it makes
That's
sense.
the American dream. That's the American dream that is put on us constantly, second by second by second.
Yeah.
And it's fed into the mind of every living being on this earth. And so it's very difficult to get past that when it's so, we don't consciously think about it.
Yeah.
Like Ford has a commercial that says the future is for everyone, and that is a lie. It's for the rich,
Yes.
because they can manipulate and take and take and take.
Yeah.
So we're going to have generation like you and I who are waking up, and the younger generation are waking up, and they're starting to realize that there has to be a change in the way human nature it is. Coming back to self again, that self. If you don't heal self mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, then you're going to be misled, because you're not well enough to understand truth.
Mm-hmm.
Truth as it is, as it exists. So we are going to have generations that will try very hard, but the governments, the controlling powers, are going to they're going to put more people into concentration camps around the world, because when humans rise up and say we've had enough, then governing bodies feel threatened. And they will militarize, and they will martial law their countries.
Yeah.
I mean, that's happening right now in France.
Yes.
Right now it's happening in France with the, but people, there are some people, this is more than a month now that people are in the streets for the Social Security from 62 to 64. We hear almost 67, 68, some people, but one of the things I wanted to ask is about the battle of history. And that word, I want you to define that word, because right now we having a battle of, even in schools, about teaching history and the truth. And I always tell my son, I always used to tell my son that the story, the whosoever wrote or rewrote or edit the story is always going to be ahead of the game. Yeah. Why? Because me, as the Afro-Latina woman, is I going to look at a story, I'm going to make myself in the story as the hero, as the badass. I don't know if I can say badass. As the badass, right? As yes. So this battle right now of changing the narrative of the story and history of the United States, and not just the United States, around the world. Now we're learning more and more of the roles of the colonizers, of the role of the truth. And this wall and this battle of trying to not have the history, the truth, to be known is becoming, so what do you guys feel about that? Because right now we have bands of books that really not even telling history, to be honest, right?
Well, reality is, in this country, the white male has controlled the history. And we are at a place now where there's enough non-white males that are starting to tell their story, that it's threatening my group and our power. And I don't buy into it, because I don't believe that I have rights above anybody else. That was, to me, that was the core of Jesus's teaching, was that I am the salt of the earth. I am part of the big universe, and that in Judeo-Christian tradition, the priorities of what we believe came to us from God was love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Mm-hmm. In other words, love the creation, love the power that gave us creation, and accept his rules for keeping relationship in balance, and love the people around you in the same way as you love yourself. But that's not what we see in most religion today. Because religion we've taken those concepts and distorted them and put ourselves at the top. And that's not what, and my group is the biggest guilty party in history. We, you talk about the color, the medicine wheel, the color wheel, and I'm actually curious from you, because the history books tell us the white man, the Portuguese, introduced the color wheel in the 1400s. And they used it to weaponize our relationship with those people groups by assigning characteristics that making the white person more valued for those characteristics than all of the other peoples of the earth. You know what I'm saying? And I'm curious how that piece of history fits into your understanding of those colors, of the color wheel. Did the Portuguese take that color wheel and corrupt it?
Yeah, absolutely, 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 totally.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, positively corrupted.
That makes sense.
And because our medicine wheel, our idea of the medicine wheel comes from one of our stories of the last cleansing, this past cleansing that Unchimaka had. So when the people, they had advanced technologically and everything, but they got so crazy with it and they were destructive. So Unchimaka said in this past cleansing that we've come through, she's going to cleanse all the bad people off the earth. That's what she said. And so she selected individuals, people of each continent were guided to places of protection. For our people, the Lakota Oyate, my people, we were led by Tatanka Oyate, Tatanka, the buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
We were led to the Black Hills, Wizipa, and to Washunia, the hole that breathes, Wind Cave. We were taken down into Wind Cave. It closed up. Unchimaka cleansed herself of all the bad people, destroyed them, shook herself and destroyed them. Then the buffalo people, the Washunia, the Wind Cave opened up again. And then the buffalo led us back up to the surface of the earth. And so our people wanted to know what this new land was like. What is this new land like? Because we were only here in the Black Hills. So they selected groups of people, one to go in the west direction, one to go in the east, one to go north, and one to go south.
Mm-hmm.
So east and west came back to the Black Hills, came back to us relatively quickly, because they Minnetonka, the big water, they couldn't go any further. Big water, Minnetonka, so the oceans. So east and west group of people came back to us and explained what they had seen and discovered, saw on their journey to the coasts. North, the people, the group of people that were sent north, they went to as far as they could. And they came back and said, Aliaska, Aliaska. There's something big and white that we can't climb. So we had to come back. We can't go any further. And that was a glacier.
Mm-hmm.
Aliaska. And
Alaska?
so the people to Aliaska, yes.
A connection there? Alaska, Aliaska?
Aliaska, yes. The people couldn't remember how to say Aliaska, so they shortened it down to Alaska.
Alaska. Oh.
Yeah, that comes from our language too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alaska, yes.
Yeah. And then the people we sent to the south, the group of people we sent to the south direction, they didn't come back to us for the longest time. And we kind of forgot about them over that time. Until one day, the scouts said, there's a group of people coming. We don't know who they are. And so the elders of the people, the leaders of the people said, well, bring them in and we'll visit with them and see. So they brought them into our camps, and then we visited with them, and they started telling us about what they had seen and where they came from and how they started. And our people remembered, oh, you are the people we sent to the south direction. How is it you came back to us from the north direction? While this group of people had journeyed all the way around the earth, from the Black Hills of Central North America, Central America, South America, Antarctica, up into Africa, up into Europe, across Asia, and by the time Alaska, or the glacier, had melted down, and they were able to come back. And so they came back and journeyed back to us. So out of that journey, they met the people of Africa, the Hasapa, the black. They met the people of Europe, the Oyateska, the white people. And they saw the yellow people of Asia. And then they know that we are the red people of North and South America. So later on, out of that, a dreamer had a dream, and out of that dream, they were told to create this symbol. And so this dreamer made this symbol, and it's a circle. And in that circle, they made it out of a rawhide. Cut the circle, a rawhide, and it was connected in the center. And they said to use red, black, yellow, and white to represent the four major people here. But that wheel was balanced in the middle. The path to the center that connected was equal. So that was a sign of equality. So that's how we understand. And we don't understand or know about the Portuguese of taking something like this and taking it out of balance. And so there could come a time when our people would and could take it out of balance if we let ourselves get away from natural law, natural living. We too can get out of balance and create destructiveness. Yeah.
So,
Wow.
So does this story happen after the continent separated, or before? After?
Probably.
Because the melting of the snow caps seems to match with what we always hear about the flood, when all the water rushing in and separating the plates. So that's why I was asking about that. Okay. Sorry, Yazmin, we're probably at the end of the hour, right?
No, yes. How much minutes we have, Chris? 5 minutes. So, 10. Oh, we got 10 minutes. Yeah.
Look at that.
So, I was listening, and one of the things I was thinking about hope. Let's talk a little bit about hope. There is any hope for us, because at the end of the day, we got to be hopeful. It's I would say centuries of having the story distorted, centuries of but I think people are waking up now, and I think part of it, technology, have created this thing where people still being individual instead of having this community religious. Let's talk about religion or politics. That without technology, they used to tell a narrative and we would believe it, right? Now with the technology, you can do your own research. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? But you can do your and come up with your own conclusions, if we want to say that. That before, even for religion, there was a time that we didn't have access to the Bible. You remember that, Pastor Dennis, right? That just the priesthood could read. They supposed to be the ones and chosen ones to just read the Bible, and not how we didn't have access to the Bible. Today, technology is an instrument that can be used for good, and it can be used for bad thing. But I'm thinking with technology, more and more, there's a lot of noises, but also there is the ability for you to do your own research, right? So for me, hope. How can we, something that you said, Pastor Danny, that stuck with me is community. How we create a community of the human race where we recognize that we are all in this together, that we need each other, that in order to get healing through our story, we need to get together. How we do that? And I think part of it is, for me, it's that hope for my son or for my grandkids that I don't have yet, but yes.
Well, there's about 3 different things I'd like to bring up with that. One of them is we can't forget the archaeologists, because even though we have the technology to do our own research, we have to have access to those libraries of information. And that is largely to the credit of the archaeologists who went out to the peoples of the earth, who went and dug in the ground and found old documentation of belief systems and practices and
cities
and cities and all of that kind of stuff, and did the hard work of piecing all of that together into something that we could comprehend. We have so much to be thankful for that, as well as technology putting it at our fingertips. But hope really requires 2 basic elements to me. We have to believe there's something bigger than us that we are answerable to. So if we have that hope, then we have the hope that that thing that's bigger than us is going to wake us up at some point. And number 2, we have to be able to realize, we have to believe that people are adaptable enough to see things differently and see things holistically. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if we have those things, we can have hope that one day all of this is going to align and we're going to be able to get smarter than we currently are. Now, unfortunately, the issue of hope is tied into the reality that humanity still is selfish. And so the ability to be selfish is going to always undercut hope. But it doesn't have to win. We have, civilization has collapsed on many occasions, and the reality is it probably will collapse on many more before we figure it out. But hopefully there'll be less.
Wonase, you have hope.
Oh yeah. And it's in the future generation. We choi chage tokatakia, the generation that moves forward. The young children, Wakanyaja, the ones being born, Wakanyaja, they're sacred beings. They are coming with knowledge of how to heal humanity and create unity. However, older generation people, many older generation people are not willing to listen to the young, because we're taught and conditioned to believe that the old have the wisdom by experience.
Yeah.
But how can we question when Tukashala God sends Wakanyaja with sacred knowledge? And why aren't we listening to it? And why aren't we proactively doing something with it, helping them?
I agree.
Their knowledge and healing ourselves. Getting away from this this need for power and power and financial wealth. Remember with when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world with no peace.
Yeah. In my Christian tradition, we have the prophets or the seers or the holy men that have told us that the future is about God giving visions to the young man and dreams to the old men. And by saying that, he's telling us we have to listen to both.
Yes, it's balance it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so closing the show, I one of the things that I wanted to really do is there's so much going on in the world, you know, especially Tennessee and what happened with this. I don't know. We don't know yet. It's the person that shoot the teachers and stuff. But condolence to, especially for these babies that die, 9-year-old kids that die. And I've been thinking, this is, I don't know. I don't even know how to say, but it's becoming the norm. And how it is that the Second Amendment is more powerful and more important a law as words than life.
Yeah.
I don't get how it is that amendment is way more important than these babies' life.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what Wonase said. The supremacy of the elders. You know, when we put them above everything else, we sacrifice the future for the past.
Wow.
We have to stop doing that. You know, that incident happened because we weren't truly spiritual.
No.
It's an attack on organized Christianity that we have taught a gospel of intolerance.
I don't
Arrogance.
I don't know. But I want to close. I wanted to close with this, saying that my heart is I can't imagine losing my 9-year-old baby. I can't. I don't have a 9-year-old baby, but I can't imagine these parents and these families. I just can't, you know. And I don't know. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, "What if the United States collectively, the entire country, stop for one day? Stop. Everything stops for one day and say it's enough."
Yeah.
And I don't think that's ever going to happen, because we have the power of money, right? Running everything. But so just throwing that in the universe, just But I want to thank you, Wonase. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for getting up early and sitting here with us this morning. Thank you. I know it's not going to be the second. I hope we see you again in this show because your knowledge, your wisdom is refreshing. I soak it up like a sponge, and to see in the screen, and looking at my screen right now and seeing this Afro-Latina woman sitting with this indigenous man and this white man, this is what we're talking about. This is what we are really want to see more often.
Yes.
This is it, right? So I want to thank you, my co-host. Thank you. Thank you, you guys. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. And how do you say goodbye in the Lakota language?
There is no
no goodbye? Oh no! Wow.
we say Doksha Wanialo. Doksha Ake Wanialo. Later again, we will see you.
Oh, Doksha Ake Ani Lawon. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. Blessings.
Okay.
And thank you.
Thank you, Yazmin.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone from VT Radio. Thank you, Chris, for being here with me, helping me out. Thank everyone that was listening, and have a wonderful, beautiful day. You guys, bye.